We're taught from childhood that family means safety, that home is where you're protected, that the people who share your blood would never, ever hurt you. But some stories don't let you keep that belief. Horror movies, psychological thrillers, the films that don't need a monster in the dark because they already put one at the dinner table. These aren't just scary movies. These are the horror and thriller films that go deeper, where the threat isn't a stranger, isn't a creature, isn't something you can run from. It's the person who was supposed to love you, the one who knew every room in the house, the one who had your trust completely. Today, we're counting down the horror and thriller movies where family wasn't the refuge, it was the nightmare. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at a family dinner the same way again. Our first movie is Hereditary. Let's start with the one that broke an entire generation of horror fans. Annie Graham's mother just died. What follows looks like a grief drama, and then it becomes something far, far worse. The film builds slowly, giving you a fully realized family. Annie, Toni Collette, her husband Steve, her son Peter, and her young daughter Charlie. They feel real. They feel like a family you know.
You slowly realize the grandmother wasn't just eccentric. She was a devoted member of a demonic cult. And she didn't just take her secrets to the grave. She arranged everything. Every tragedy, every death, every moment of suffering the Graham family endures was orchestrated by a woman who was supposed to love them unconditionally. Annie discovers her mother's hidden room, the photographs, the notes, the rituals, and the realization hits. She was never a mother. She was a vessel. And so is Annie, and so is Charlie. The horror isn't the demon Paimon, it's the grandmother's betrayal. The idea that the matriarch of your family spent decades grooming you, your mother, and your children for sacrifice. Every family memory is retroactively poisoned. Annie becomes possessed and decapitates herself. Peter watches his father burn alive, and the cult celebrates. The family was never a family. They were props in someone else's ritual. Hereditary asks a question most horror films don't dare ask. What if the person who was supposed to protect you was the one who built the cage? Our second movie is Midsommar. Most horror movies set their terror in darkness. Midsommar does something more disturbing. It sets it in broad daylight, surrounded by flowers and people who seem to genuinely love you.
Danny's boyfriend Christian reluctantly brings her to Sweden for a midsummer festival with his friends. It seems like folk art, ancient tradition, communal living. It's beautiful even. And then people start dying. Danny's actual family died in the opening scene. Her sister killed herself and their parents with carbon monoxide. That loss is fresh, raw, and Christian, the man she's leaning on, is emotionally checked out, planning to break up with her, using her grief as an excuse to stay in the relationship a little longer. Her family, boyfriend, friends are all secretly planning to leave her. The Horga cult slowly, methodically replaces her family void. They hold her while she cries. They mirror her grief. And by the end, she's crowned May Queen and makes the decision to sacrifice Christian. The film ends with her smiling, the first genuine smile we've seen from her. It's not a triumphant ending. It's a broken person accepting a cult as a substitute for the family she lost. The horror is how reasonable it feels to her. Midsommar isn't about a cult destroying a family. It's about what happens when your real family already destroyed you first. Our third movie is The Shining. If Hereditary is modern family horror, The Shining is the original, and it still hasn't been topped. Jack Torrance takes his wife Wendy and son Danny to the Overlook Hotel as its off-season caretaker. He's a writer, a recovering alcoholic, and a man with anger issues he insists are under control. The hotel has other ideas.
What makes The Shining so uniquely terrifying is how it mirrors real family trauma. Jack doesn't immediately become a monster. He deteriorates. He becomes distant, then irritable, then volatile, then homicidal. For any viewer who grew up in a house with an unpredictable parent, this escalation is viscerally familiar. Danny is the heart of the film. He's a child who loves his father, who has already been hurt by his father. Jack dislocated his shoulder in a drunken rage, and who desperately wants to believe his father is good. Room 237, Red Room, the twins in the corridor, all of it filtered through a child trying to survive a parent who has become a predator. The "Here's Johnny" scene, the moment Jack breaks through the bathroom door, is one of cinema's most iconic frames, but watch Wendy's face. She's been here before. Maybe not with an axe, but the terror in her eyes is recognition, not just fear. The Overlook Hotel didn't create Jack Torrance.
It just let him be who he already was. Our fourth movie is Get Out. Jordan Peele didn't make a conventional horror movie. He made a film about the specific, unique horror of a black man entering his white girlfriend's family home and realizing too late that the smiles never reach their eyes. Chris Washington goes to meet his girlfriend Rose's family for the first time. The Armitage family is welcoming, liberal, and slightly too eager to prove they're comfortable. Chris is uneasy but dismisses his instincts as paranoia. He shouldn't have. The Armitage aren't just prejudiced, they're running a body-snatching operation. Rose isn't an innocent girlfriend who didn't know. She's done this before. She has a box under her bed full of photographs, all previous victims she lured into the trap. She was never in love with Chris. He was always the target.
The horror of Get Out is the horror of being gaslit by people who present themselves as allies. Rose's family weaponizes the language of progressivism to make Chris doubt his own instincts. Every time he senses danger, someone in the family says something reassuring. And it works, because he's been conditioned to not want to seem suspicious of white people who are being nice. The moment Rose's mother hypnotizes Chris is the most chilling scene. Not because it's violent, but because it's intimate. She uses a teacup, a warm voice, and his own grief over his mother's death to paralyze him. She weaponizes his trauma. Get Out is a film about trusting the wrong family, and the most horrifying reveal isn't the surgery, it's the shoebox. Our fifth movie is Mama. What if the most dangerous family member isn't human, but she thinks she is? Two little girls, Victoria and Lily, are found after surviving alone in the wilderness for 5 years. They've been cared for by something they call Mama. Their uncle Lucas and his girlfriend Annabelle take them in, and Mama comes with them. Mama isn't a traditional villain. She's a ghost, yes, but she's a mother who lost her baby and never recovered. Her attachment to the girls, especially the feral Lily, is genuine in its own horrifying way. She doesn't want to hurt them. She wants to keep them. Victoria slowly reintegrates into human life. She remembers language, relationships, what it means to be loved by a person. But Lily, who was too young when she was taken, can't. She doesn't want to. Mama is the only mother she's ever known.
Mama takes Lily off a cliff, and Lily goes willingly. The film doesn't give you a clean rescue. It gives you a child who chose her monster over her humanity. Mama is the only film on this list where the family threat genuinely loves the children she's destroying. Our sixth movie is Us. Jordan Peele's follow-up to Get Out dared to ask, what if the monster at the door was wearing your face? The Wilson family goes on vacation to Santa Cruz. Adelaide Wilson has been terrified of this place since a traumatic childhood encounter. And then at night, a family appears at the end of their driveway, holding hands, wearing red jumpsuits, and they look exactly like them. The doubles, the tethered, are the Wilson family's underground counterparts. They've lived their entire lives in tunnels, mirroring the movements of their surface counterparts, eating raw rabbit, unable to speak. Their rage is righteous, their violence is personal. Adelaide Wilson is not who she says she is. As a child, she went into a hall of mirrors and encountered her tethered, and the tethered switched with her. The woman who has been the loving mother, the anchor of the Wilson family, the person they all trust completely, she's the monster. The real Adelaide has been underground for decades. The film asks an impossible question. Does it matter? The woman who raised these children, who loves them, who fights for them, she built that life on someone else's erasure. Her son watches her kill the real Adelaide, and the film ends with him seeing her face, the moment he understands, and says nothing. Us doesn't just put a monster in the house, it puts one in the driver's seat of the minivan, and asks if love is enough to make that okay.
Every film on this list has one thing in common. The threat isn't coming from outside the house. It's already inside. It's already at the table. It's already in the bed next to you. And that's what makes horror and thriller films like these hit differently from rules. They don't chase you through the dark. They sit across from you at Christmas dinner. They smile. They pass the salt. If this video made you want to call someone you love, good. Do it right now. And if you think there's a movie we missed or something we could do better, we're a new channel, and your feedback genuinely helps us grow and improve. Every comment, every suggestion, every idea, it all matters to us. Subscribe if you want more horror and thriller deep dives like this one. We'll see you in the next one, if the family lets you make it that far.